20% of referrals to CAMHS are still consistently rejected. Having waited 3 years, why have the government failed to end this damaging practice?
200 teenagers who lose their lives in the UK to suicide every year, which is a horrifying statistic. So there's a really urgent need to have this conversation.
The Lighthouse for Perth, shining a light on Scotland's mental health.
Well, I'm driving home from work that night and the traffic came to a standstill and I could see something was happening up ahead and there was somebody on the bridge. And then the realisation it was that same person that was on the bridge and the police were there trying to coax the person down. And I just felt this young person has been let down so badly.
That was Sharon Thomas, the CEO of children's mental health charity The Lighthouse for Perth. I had been invited into the charity, following them for a couple of months, getting to know one of Scotland's most important organisations supporting children's mental health, self-harm and suicide prevention, and the team that makes the charity run, ahead of their Ajuda Foundation nomination for Impact on Community.
She said, you gave us back our son. She said he was there and he was still in the house, he was an empty shell. We knew he was suicidal, she says, and we didn't know how to stop that, we thought we were going to lose him. She said, you just come in and you shone a light in the darkest of times and we can never ever repay you for that. So every time we look at our son, we think he is.
This is a story of hope and resilience created by a small team that have become the only private charity of its kind that offers help and crisis level support to children that are struggling with their mental health within the Perth and Kinross area. The charity's story involves many people. Sharon Thomas herself, her team that fight every day to support children, and the children and parents that are in need.
So my name is Sharon Thomas. I'm the operations manager here at Lighthouse Perth. 5 years ago I was brought in to set up the service. The charity was formed but there was no service there. So I came in to set up the whole service. So I run the whole thing basically. I'm responsible for the day-to-day running, all operations, but also the fundraising and the financial side. On my first day I came in, there wasn't even as much as a pen. There was no office furniture, nothing. We didn't have a proper base. They'd rented a residential flat to use as a kind of office space. So it was basically to start from scratch. There was nothing there. The charity was set up in 2015, and it was set up by a parent who had lost her child through mental health, and she'd got together with some other parents who had also lost children through mental health, and they all had the same idea that there was nothing there for that age group, and so they went about just trying to do a bit of fundraising and set a charity up, and within about 5 years they had registered the charity but couldn't get any further, so that's when they managed to get funds to bring in a manager to actually set up a service.
The Lighthouse for Perth are the only charity within Scotland that offer crisis level support to children and young adults between the ages of 12 to 18. Being the only charity of its kind that have crisis level management in place, they offer immediate help to a child that has self-harm issues or has planned to end their own life.
In your own words, who are the Lighthouse for Perth?
The Lighthouse for Perth is the only, across Scotland, we are the only organisation, charity, that provides crisis level support for kids. So that 12 to 18-year-old group. And what we've got in this area for Perth and Kinross is not replicated across Scotland.
With the Lighthouse for Perth being the only charity within Scotland that offers crisis level support, this begs the question of why this isn't replicated. With an outcry for children's mental health support across the country, the government isn't providing enough crisis care for children in need. CAMHS is one of Scotland's largest children's mental health charities, with 3,821 children and young adults beginning treatment in December 2024. Despite this, 4,362 children were waiting for treatment that same month, with around an 18-week waiting list for treatment. This isn't quick enough for someone who is in urgent need of crisis level support, with CAMHS only offering urgent referrals in certain circumstances. This raises major concerns surrounding our country's children's mental health support. With a child that has self-harm or suicide issues, an 18-week waiting list could be fatal. I asked Sharon Thomas during my first conversation with her about her worries, what keeps her up at night, and why she does the work she does.
What keeps you awake at night in regards to mental health within our country?
That there's not enough resources. Our young people are really struggling. We have got about 120 kids in our books at the moment, and over 25 of those kids under the age of 18 have already told us that they have made an attempt on their life. We've had over 1,200 kids through since we started the service, and we've got every one of the kids to a better place. But we still see young fatalities, even within our own area. People that have not been known to our service, so we've not worked with them, but why have we not worked with them? And that's just a constant challenge. And yeah, that does keep you awake at night, because you think there's still kids out there who are struggling but maybe don't know who to reach out to. One death of a young person is one too many, because there is nothing a 13, 14-year-old's life that we can't help them through. I think there needs to be a bit more recognition, especially at that crisis level of support across our whole society.
One of the Lighthouse for Perth's innovative steps towards helping children's mental health is their school initiative. The bulk of staff within the charity are mental health support workers, offering private counselling within schools, alongside training 5th and 6th year children in schools through their mental health ambassador scheme to notice other children who are struggling and direct them to the Lighthouse for Perth.
I'm Louise Shields, and I'm a mental health support worker here at Lighthouse.
What does your role in the charity involve?
A little bit of everything. Kind of as a mental health support worker, I'm out in the schools more than I'm in the office. That at the moment, normally I'm in schools 4 days a week and here 1 day a week. I'm the mental health support worker for 4 different schools, which are, as I can remember, Oxford Order, Blairgowrie, St John's and Bertha Park. The fact that we're in the schools whenever that arises means I know I've had multiple occasions where, whether a client's with me or not, like a teacher will be knocking on the door and being like, hey, we've just had this, like this person is, really in crisis, there's some really intense distress and suicidal thoughts. Can you find the time to speak to them, within the next, hour or so? And it's kind of okay, yeah, of course.
When we had first started, we were just operational. We managed to get in, find us a base, and we've got a crisis centre. And then one of our rural schools, and one of those rural schools had a fatality of a 16-year-old. We just, straight away, we thought we need to be able to reach these kids where they are, because being in the centre of the city is not accessible for everybody. So that was the first approach for us to have a business plan to move into schools. And when we went into that school, within 2 weeks, I had another 2 high schools contacting me to say, will we be getting this service? We really need this service. Yeah. So it spiralled very quickly. So we are in all our high schools every week doing outreach support.
Many schools across the country have government-run counselling services, but these aren't as urgent and as easily accessible as services run by the charity. With the Lighthouse for Perth being implemented in rural and city schools, this has shown great success, with children being more comfortable speaking to the Lighthouse for Perth rather than an in-school service. I spoke to the Senior Support Officer, Charlotte, who leads the mental health ambassador training throughout the schools, about her experience working for the charity.
That last one, so the mental health ambassador training. So another part of my job is the mental health ambassador training, which is a peer support kind of led training, and I go into all 11 schools across Perth and Ross and provide support and training to senior groups, so that they can then provide support to younger pupils within the school community. So I started 3.5 years ago, and in 2020 I lost a partner to suicide, and in 2021 this job came up, and it just felt kind of right. I think we're so lucky here at the Lighthouse in terms of we are a small team. There's only 7 of us. When I started, there was only myself and Sharon, and we've grown obviously over the last few years. I feel really proud to work for the Lighthouse, because I think obviously coming out the back of COVID, mental health's always been around. Everybody has mental health. But over the last few years, this project and charity has grown so much because of the success of the work that we're doing, because of the support that we're providing. Nobody else in Perth and Kinross, or even in Tayside, really provides the support that we provide. We have no waiting list, and it's just, I think it's so niche, and we've been told by all of our schools that they wouldn't know what to do if they didn't have our service, because so many young people are struggling now but asking for help. They're not struggling in silence so much, but teachers and staff within schools are maybe not yet equipped to deal with that maybe level of crisis that we are equipped to deal with.
Aside from being an approachable service within schools, the Mental Health Ambassador scheme is unique, allowing children to be safe when the charity's workers are busy. The Ambassador training trains 5th and 6th year school students to notice someone who is struggling and identify a potential suicide.
In terms of the mental health ambassador training, that's a big part of what I try and get across to young people, because it's not to shy away from it. If people are struggling or people are saying that they're feeling a certain way, it's to listen and to kind of acknowledge that and validate those feelings.
Despite noticing a potential risk and reporting them to the Lighthouse for Perth, the school ambassador training has done an amazing job in getting rid of the stigma that surrounds suicide.
Like suicide, I have been asked even in schools before, do you need to use that word? Well, absolutely I do. We're not trying to normalise suicide, but we're trying to normalise the fact that it's okay to speak about it. Yeah. And our youth ambassadors help us every day to tackle that stigma.
Helping around 120 children at the moment, the charity's step-by-step action plan for counselling is what makes the charity so effective.
Can you kind of run me over how you guys deal with a client who is struggling with mental health?
So everybody's different, but every young person that comes to us, we will safety plan. So we have 2 types of safety plans. We have a self-harm specific safety plan, and we have a more general safety plan. And that gives us a good kind of stepping stone in terms of opening up conversation, but it also then kind of puts a plan in place in terms of for the young person who's already around them, where their safe places are, what their triggers are, how at the moment they are managing, and so it then kind of evolves into a more sturdy crisis management plan. So over 8 to 10 weeks, we work through with our young people.
And when asked why they were distressed because they had actually made it into school alive. This young person had been trying to get hit by a car all the way to school. It turns out that this young person had already been affected by a suicide in the family by an adult, so thought by doing this the parents might have thought it was an accident.
That's that. I'm trying to even think of what to say. Who are we? You mean, is it really cheesy if I say a beacon of hope?
At the end of the day, whatever was going on for that person, all she needed was somebody to listen.
But suicide is not a temporary action to take, because it's permanent.
Without funding, the charity's work wouldn't be possible. Fortunately, they have received funding from many different avenues, with HSBC Bank funding their work for years. I attended a fundraising bake sale in the HSBC's office at Edinburgh Park for Children's Mental Health Week alongside Sharon Thomas.
So can you just run me through how you organise and set up for a fundraising event like this one?
Yeah, so we initially will be invited along. Like today we've been invited to HSBC because they've chosen us as a charity of the year. So we need to put input into that as well. So we already have a lot of stuff that we take along. As you'll see, our display boards are here, which gives a good breakdown of all the services that we've got, so people can see at a glance and then they can ask questions about it. And it's making sure that people know all the different bits that it's involved in, because then they know what to ask, that they've got something to ask, and it prompts the conversation. Then we just make sure that people know where we are, what we're doing. Is there a reason why we're here? So today we're doing this as part of it's Children's Mental Health Week, and we like to make sure that we're being proactive, and then we make sure we bring some merchandise, some pens, hoodies, leaflets and things, and then normally we'll arrange to do a bit of a talk at it as well. And that talk is usually either aimed at young people themselves or the parents of young people, where they can, in a safe space, ask questions about crisis level mental health.
The charity was invited along as they are one of 2 HSBC Edinburgh Engagement Charities of the Year. I got to speak to Louise, Rebecca and Rachel from HSBC's engagement team during the bake sale.
So what is HSBC's relationship with the Lighthouse for Perth?
So Lighthouse for Perth were the Edinburgh Engagements Team's Charity of the Year, one of 2. So any fundraising that we do in Edinburgh will be shared amongst those 2 charities.
For our company, we support 2 charities every year. These are nominated and voted for by our colleagues. So last year I took part in the Kilt Walk for the Lighthouse for Perth, and we have the Lighthouse for Perth come in to do talks with our colleagues.
We contacted Sharon and they were obviously happy to get involved, and they've been amazing. This is the second time Sharon's come down and spoke to us and our staff, and so yeah, it's been a fantastic relationship, but it's such a relief to know people like Sharon and Lighthouse are working on it, and they're so committed.
Sharon maintains strong relationships with her funders, coming into HSBC's office to do talks and speak to parents.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming along today. We're along here because you have been very kindly raising funds for our charity this year, which we're very grateful for. So it's Children's Mental Health Week right across the country this week, so we thought this would be a really good time to come along again, raise a bit more awareness and give a wee talk on how to deal with your kids' mental health.
Alongside raising funds for the charity's work, it was clear during the fundraiser that Sharon has a passion for sharing her wisdom and building relationships with the people who support the charity. This was the first time I'd truly seen the true passion Sharon has, not only for her charity, but children's mental health.
Like one lad who's with us, he's only there because the rope snapped. He got a rope and he tried to hang himself in a tree and it snapped, the branch snapped. And it was only him landing on the ground and realising that he was still alive was a shock that he needed to reach out for some help. I had a phone call just last Saturday from a parent who sadly did lose her son back in her first year of operation, and she thought her son was fine. And last Saturday she phoned me in a right state of panic. Her now 18-year-old son it was away for the weekend, and she went into his room to put some clothes by, and she's found suicide written notes in his drawer to all his family. And she says to me, I think he's okay, but I thought my other son was okay. She went, so that shows you what I know. She went, so I know nothing, but it just shows you that she knows herself. She says, I can look at my kids and I think they're fine. And even having lost her son, she still can't look at her other kids and decipher if they're fine or not, because there's this closed off, he'll not talk to him. So getting that conversation and getting them to talk to you is so important. And then see if they are struggling, it's having the harder conversations with them. So it's saying to them, you know, if they're saying if you really notice that if they're starting to struggle, and then they become the signs that you can watch out for. And you need to be saying, look, we know you're not okay. You can speak to us, you can tell us, what are you struggling with? And there's nothing that you can't tell us that we can't deal with. And yeah, we are human beings, and sometimes they'll tell us something, and as parents we might get a bit mad and shout. Say to them that might happen, to say, but we won't actually mean it. It's because that would be our mistake to do that.
Many children have been helped by the Lighthouse for Perth, and many have been identified by school mental health ambassadors. During one of my visits to the charity's office, I sat down with a 15-year-old boy who has been through the charity's crisis support after his father found him attempting to take his own life. The 15-year-old was brought to the Lighthouse for Perth through their out-of-hours crisis line that runs daily till 10 p.m. Sharon was on the crisis line that evening when the boy's father found him, and he was brought in the following morning, where Sharon sat down with him and his parents. During this initial visit to the charity, Sharon spoke to the boy's parents as part of their unique parents counselling service.
So we do parent support. We are not trying to learn somebody how to be a parent. No. Some parents don't know until they get that phone call from the school to say, we've found a suicide plan in your son or daughter's bag. They've struggling with their mental health, or they've found out that they've made an attempt in their life. And the parents are in shock. They're like, how do I deal with this? Mm-hmm. So because it is something that we work in and we're trained in, with the parent support, what we do is we do work with the parents, and it's to show the parents how best they can support the work we are doing with their child.
Offering this service allows for parents to understand what their child is going through and how to work with their child at home outside of time spent with the Lighthouse for Perth. It gives parents counselling for themselves, giving them closure and an understanding of how to work through this difficult time. I spoke to the 15-year-old's mother about her and her husband's experience with their son's struggle and counselling offered to them by the Lighthouse for Perth.
Our experience, obviously, it was a traumatic time, but it was a really positive experience becoming involved with the Lighthouse. We were new to the area, we didn't know anything, we didn't know where to turn. Because they were there for us as well.
Yeah.
And has been a great support for us since then. The school had arranged meetings and Sharon came with us to support us within the meetings and to kind of guide us to kind of say, no, don't let them do that and don't let them say that, and this is the school. So it was a constant support and an ear to a listen. That was probably the most important thing. It was fortunate that night that his guidance teacher was still in the school, because I emailed and I was like, because somebody contacted, because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so she contacted Lighthouse and got us the referral in here.
Following the success and innovation of the charity, the Lighthouse for Perth was nominated for the Ajuda Foundation Award for Impact on Community, the first awards Ajuda has organised within Scotland, being a celebration of mental health charities that work hard every day to support the country's mental health.
My name is Bobby Allen and I'm the project coordinator for the Ajuda Foundation. The whole point of the awards is to make sure that all of that work that people, all of the work that organisations do, that people do, that it is recognised, that it is acknowledged and celebrated. When we're looking at charities, it's about having people that really do believe that mental health is a way in which you can support so many other aspects of working life, of personal life, of charitable life, of the things that people do every day.
Focusing on the Lighthouse for Perth, how did you guys come across this charity and why did you guys nominate that charity in particular?
Well, we put a call out on social media asking for anybody in Scotland really to nominate the people and organisations that they know are doing good things in the field of mental health in Scotland. And so we had a fair few nominations coming in, just highlighting all of these different organisations, individuals who are working hard in the field of mental health in Scotland.
I joined Sharon and Charlotte from the charity to the awards day on the 21st of February 2025 at the Edinburgh International Conference Centre. Tensions were high as this was the first recognition of this scale that the charity has been nominated for. It was a day full of emotion with celebrity guest speakers and inspirational talks from mental health ambassadors. I got to speak to guest speaker Colin McLachlan, an ex-SAS veteran and advocate for mental health, about the significance of the awards day.
Yeah, I mean, it's mental health awards for Scotland, and it's obviously it's going all over, and it has its different regions, but I think it's good to recognise and also learn what's in the Scottish community. And I've learned myself coming today some of the different organisations that are around that you didn't know about.
And giving credit where it's definitely due to those who have gone above and beyond to support the mental health and well-being of people in Scotland. This year we received over 100 nominations, which made the decision process incredibly challenging. The quality and variety of work being done across Scotland is nothing short of inspiring. So a huge thank you to everyone who nominated a service or a product, an individual or an organisation.
As the moment came closer to the Impact on Community Award announcement, there was great suspense within the Lighthouse team, with the hard work and passion they put into their work having an opportunity to be awarded and recognised.
We're going to award the Impact in the Community Awards now. These are sponsored by Ajuda Training. This award recognises those who tirelessly raise awareness and support mental health in our communities. And today we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of these organisations, reminding us that collective efforts create a healthier, more supportive environment for everyone. And the finalists for the award for Impact in the Community are Kick Mental Health, James McFarlane, the Lighthouse for Perth, Veterans Garden Dumfries, Scotland's Mental Health Partnership, Food Train Scotland and Mikey's Line. On to our winner now. This Perth-based initiative has been doing incredible work, quietly making a real difference in the community. With a focus on helping people when they need it most, they've built a reputation for offering practical support and creating a welcoming space for everyone. From tackling tough issues to simply being there for people, their efforts have had a lasting impact, and it's no surprise they're being recognised for their amazing contribution to the local community. The winner of the Impact in the Community Award is the Lighthouse.
Thank you so much. When you're dealing with young people, teenagers who are maybe recovering from a suicide attempt or reached out before that attempt and are feeling suicidal, it's really hard to measure what your impact is without measuring life and death. But we do get that feedback when a parent contacts us and says, I just want to thank you for giving us back our son. They said he was still here, he was still in the house, but it was just an empty shell, and we really thought we were going to lose him. They said, and you gave him us back, even his cheeky banter. He said, we even missed that. They said, and it's all back. And so we get that recognition, and it really helps us get through the day, because it's not an easy job today. But getting the recognition that we're having an impact across the community is something special, so thank you so much, everybody.
So how do you feel about winning the award?
Yeah, blown away. It's quite a privilege to be recognised specifically in the category for the impact in the community, because it is a community we work in, and to be recognised for us having an impact, that's amazing.
I think it's just because we're in a room full of massive projects from the whole of Scotland, to be recognised as a small charity in Perth Penrose, it's just it blows your mind. And like you said, when you're up there, it's hard to measure success when it comes to suicide and self-harm. But actually, the recognition that we're getting, that we're doing a good job, I think it just all makes it worthwhile.
Did you expect to win?
No,
I don't think so.
The reason I didn't, I was really pleased at just being a finalist, and the reason I didn't really expect to win it is because a lot of the places are here are national, and they cover the whole of Scotland, and we are a local charity. So yeah, it was I was really surprised.
I think because there's, like you say, there's such big names in the room, and also was looking through what each individual project does, and they were all worthy of winning. So I don't know how they picked, but I wasn't expecting it.
Do you feel after winning you guys have got the recognition you deserve?
Yeah, I think the biggest recognition for me comes for our young people that we help, and their parents, and the feedback we get for them, and them coming back and telling us that they're in a good place. This is nice, the awards, but the real recognition comes for the people who are been in that bad place and are in a good place now.
And how will winning this award change the work you guys do?
I don't think it will.
Motivation?
I don't think it will. It's obviously appreciated, but it just drives you, I suppose, to know that you're doing a good job. It'll keep us going. It won't. I don't think it'll change anything.
No, not change anything, because it shows that we're doing the right thing, that it's been recognised. But I think it's amazing for the team to be to just get this so that they know, look, it's not just me saying to them they're doing a great job all the time. There's other people out there across the whole of Scotland saying you're doing an amazing job, so it's great for the team.
At the end of the event, a surprise special award was announced, being the Trudy Williams Surprise Recognition Award, recognising an organisation that deserves the Ajuda Foundation's full attention.
It's not unusual for this organisation to receive an out-of-hours call from someone standing on a bridge. or sitting with a pile of pills contemplating suicide but not actually wanting to die. This organisation offers hope, understanding, a listening ear and total support, helping to avert the tragedy of suicide in young people. More than 1,200 young people have been through this service in the past 4 years. That's 300 people saved per year. And all those young people are now in a better place. They're safer, and they have the life skills to manage their mental health safely. The winner of the Trudy Williams Special Recognition Award 2025 is the Lighthouse for Perth.
Well, this is a first I'm lost for words. If you ask anybody, they'll not believe it. We're totally blown away by this. This is something special, very special, and especially because of what it's for. So thank you so much for doing it. What an amazing day, what a most inspiring day, and thank you massively to the Ajuda Foundation for putting this day on. It's been absolutely amazing. But thank you. I'm quite sure there's a lot more organisations would deserve this as well, but thank you so much.
This story has been brought to you by myself, Liam Unson. I would like to thank the Lighthouse for Perth team for allowing me to follow their journey during the last few months. It has been a privilege to witness this team of passionate professionals in their support of young people through difficult times. The Ajuda Foundation Awards they received is a testament of many years of hard work. And with plans to share their company model to other areas outside of Perth and Kinross, the future looks brighter for children's mental health.